gamers. It's an RPG. Wanted criminal. Action RPG. Oh. Real-time strategy. I guess we'll go with the basic thing. Human skeleton. Howdy, Boodle. How you doing? Plus 20 farming, cooking, science. Sounds like something I'd like. Pale as can be, dark as can be. Randomize. Randomize the whole thing. I thought it would only randomize the thing that heck. All the way. Ghastly pale. I don't want to be ghastly pale. Let's add a bit of color. 10. Height. Frame. posture. Shoulder. Neck. Leg. Shoulders. And giant yowie hands. Chest. Stomach. Oh, you know. What? Maybe if I shape the chest. Looks goofy. Waist. Wasp waist. Orb. Legs bulk. Leg shape. Hips. Okay. Feet. Rug. Looks so goofy. It says its shape. Okay, neck. Neck width. Jaw. Cheekbones. Mouth size. Mouth width. Nose size. Nose length. Nose arc, nose position, nose tilt, eyes depth, nice and narrow, now I can't promise I'm going to like stream this game for forever, because I'm pretty sure this is just sort of like a sim sort of game. There isn't any real goal. It's just do what you will inside of this giant sandbox. Saw Kobold play this before. Ah! What's going on? Does everything look alright? This screen went wonky there for a bit. Hair. Beard. Yes. Color. Saturation. brightness. There we go. The ideal Los Angeles resident. Your name shall not be named after a cheese wedge. You shall be... Big Pharma. There. Make use of my farming skills. However it works. Right click to move. Don't distract me. Take a look around. That's so precious. I got ants. I got stick. Food cube. So, linear story or mission to guide you. We've found... Yep, that certainly is, oh, those arrows. Those. Built. Oh, Okay. Let's begin. This seems like a nice little area to build a farm. I can't build too close to a town. Alright. And then let's venture off. The hub. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. Can I build here? No. Alright. The quest for finding farmland continues. Maybe in that valley. Famous cereal. I don't know what that means. Now surely out here is far enough, right? Oh. Confirm. Don't have any building material. Okay, so what do I need? Squad. I'm going to pause the game so I can read this. Okay, so... Okay. Can I mine this to get some building materials? You know what would actually help is if you actually hit the rock there, Big Pharma. It should be called the Big Bunker. Yay, my skill increased. I'm not actually getting anything though. Just says work hard on a lot of these trades. Still like cooking food. Brewing jerks. Don't worry, some year you'll be able to harvest a cube. Owie. Howdy, Sam. How you doing? My laboring's at 3. What? What do you mean? This is the game you voted for. It's Kenshi! You put all those points into it and you ain't even know what it is? Once laboring hits 5, I'm probably going to go run off to that little diner over there. See if I can't get some build material. Because I'm not getting anything from mining this rock. Is it RPG exploration? You don't know as much. It wasn't made in the 80s. It's a role-playing game. Like, there's plenty to explore. I'm just trying to mine some materials, but not having much luck, but at least I'm getting my skill up. One stone? I don't know. Okay, going this way. I guess so. It's probably just because my skill's really low. What the hell? Jumped by a bunch of weirdos. I'm injured. I'm injured too. First aid kit. I don't have a first aid kit. I have a stick and pants. That is all. Get him, Big Pharma. You did it. Good job. I am taking what? Can I not take? They are unconscious. Plain dead. Oh, I have to, like... Good thing I had all these guys here. Okay. You got any building material? You got like a bowl of rice. And a big bowl of wipes. And the first aid kit. I'll buy a few. What? Hey, my Gohan. Bitch. these pants. You just stole them from someone. Bandit raid moving towards big bunker. Why? There's nothing there! You can have these. Cutscene. Oh, this is the guy that's unconscious, isn't he? Inventory. Oh, I have a shirt now. And new pants. What I'm gonna do. I'm crippled. Oh no, he's crippled. Or am I crippled? Oh yeah, he's crippled. Go. I'm gonna carry him around to boost my strength. The Dungeon Master 1987. I don't know what that is. DOS game dungeon crawler. I'm going to walk back to town and see if there's a guy that sells construction materials so I can finally make myself a well and maybe even some farming things. Two successful. Oh wait. And club. Slimy thief. Get him, Big Pharma. I believe in you. You can get him. You just have to stop sucking. Okay. Guess I'm not allowed to finish him off. Like, bitch. Gimme. He's unconscious. Yes. I need to see. Fever. I guess me trying to take the stick from him is increasing my thievery skill. Mine. Alright. here's a bar. Go to steel. Well, I don't aim to steal. Let's do business. Which is like slightly better than mine. These are exact same. Hey, he has building material. Can we jimmy this around? No, it doesn't look like it. Wonder where I can get a backpack, or if I have to make it myself. Alright, so we know where we can buy building material, at least. No, don't attack. You can't take on a horde of, what was this, like 9 guys? I'm moving. There's one down. Retreat. Retreat. Get him, ninjas. I'll patch up my body parts. going to sell these clubs. So if they get the bright idea of rising from the grave, we can just... They don't have as much of a chance. Let's trade. They can keep their pants. Committing crime. Hungry bandit leader. Oh, I want that. You can have these. It may be a crude blade, but it's better than a pointed stick. Alright. Now let's go and get to building our well. Are they talking about looting my not even built well? Black Dragon Genshin. Anyways. Why? Like, I put a few sticks in the ground to mark where I'm digging a well. And then this clan of rogue samurais goes, oh shit, there must be loads of loot there, let's get them. What in the world? Bandit raid against Big Bunker has ended. There was nothing to raid to begin with. It's like I put a couple sticks in the ground out in the middle of a field, and then it's like, oh, your base is being raided. What base? I haven't done anything! Who's this? Hopefully they didn't destroy my well. I'll be pretty sad. I put 2 construction materials in that thing. Do you know how much that costs? Like $1. Well, 2 technically, since 2 of them. back to town to buy another. Okay, so these stats do recover. I was wondering. And barely enough. Where'd I get this from? Car starting. I have the windows open because it's too warm to keep them shut. My well is almost complete. It's time to get wet. Building. Let's see, we need green fruit times 10. Okay, now the new mystery, finding where the hell you get green fruit. It's just having the... Yeah, I guess just having the food in the inventory was enough to... Oh no, dust storm. Does that mean I should get indoors? Water! We have something to sell. This fruit looks a lot like blue, not green, but we got some, so let's go deposit those. I just noticed that the thing said it's not even green or fruit. So they know what they're doing, I guess. Leave ouring. Another dust storm. So we need to get 7 more green fruit. What is it? Fertile. We could probably fit a second barrel. Laboring is at level 8. Doing science being sciencey. Could probably work up our strength by walking this to town instead of the diner there. Nomad animal trainer. Okay, that's interesting AI you got there, bucko. Oh, look at the little guys. There we go. Taking a trip. Thunder's going down. Then we may need to get a food. Perhaps some rice. Or some rice, but in Japanese. No, Tamagotchi is digivolving. Oh, what? Go. Guess the bandits either left or were disposed of. Let's Let's do business. Too many cooks. Can I not eat the dry meat? Back to dredging up water. I'm gonna go get me some water, but in real life. Ping. My stomach is almost completely recovered. And my chest is getting well on the way. Oh wait, the stomach's done healing. I'm curious if they stack. There's no slow pace option. I mean, I could just go turbo overdrive. Then my other game I trashed on? What do you mean? What game did I trash on? You talking about High Guard? This game moves a mile a minute compared. I have 100 money. Back to milking the earth. Tiger does publicly ban gamers. They blame everyone but themselves. They basically go and say, oh, there's no way our game can fail, and they were just huffing their own farts, basically. I can play any number of videos. Let me look. That one would be a good one to show. What the? What the hell happened? Starving bandits came and just wrecked my shit while I was just minding my own business. Anyway. Real life fake wizard, here we go. YouTube. Some game devs deserve layoffs. Bing.
Hello, I'm the real-life fake wizard. A few weeks ago, I made a video about Highguard. I played it, I gave it a fair shot, and I told you it was boring. Since then, the studio behind Highguard, Wildlight Entertainment, has laid off most of their team. 16 days after launch, to be exact. The game hemorrhaged players from 97,000
Oh, they stole my meat.
on day one to a few thousand players within 2 weeks. Highguard, for all intents and purposes, is on life
didn't
support
steal
with
my
a skeleton
money.
crew that may or may not be able to keep the lights on.
Prayer
That's
day on the way
and I
to
do
Big
feel for
Bunker.
the
What does that
developers
even
that
mean?
lost their jobs. It is not easy in this economy by any means. But one of those developers wrote an article on X explaining where their head is at after this whole thing. And my friends, this article is one of the most revealing things I've read about the state of the gaming industry in a very long time. For years worth of videos, we constantly speculate as to what's gone wrong in gaming. But here and now, a developer grieving their job and years worth of work has accidentally exposed what the people making AAA games really think about the people playing them. And it's not great. Today's indie game shoutout is Greytail, a small island in the Pacific, and the greatest female pilot has vanished. Suffering from severe headaches, our protagonist depends on medication as they search for her. But what is real and what is hallucination? This is a Zelda-like mystery adventure to uncover the island's truth. To learn more about this and hundreds of other indie games, visit our free indie game discovery network, fakeportal.com, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now back to the video. Yeah, as we get into this, I want to be extremely clear early on. This video is not an attack on this developer. I'm not going to name this person because I'm not speaking to them directly. This video is not a response to them as an individual, okay? I thank them profusely for writing this. It takes some guts to put your thoughts out there, especially after something as high profile as Highguard. And you're going to see in the ways that we break this down, I'm addressing the AAA industry, not one man. The things written here
I'm slowly bleeding out to death.
On why there are so many problems in gaming. And with that, let's start at the very beginning. Number 1, the Echo Chamber. The day leading to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiments. This is lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. This has mainstream written all over it. There's no way this will flop. I could play this game all day. Every single person they talked to told them this game was going to be a smash hit. Not one dissenting voice made
I don't know what Prayer Day
one
is.
One person said, hey, I have some concerns about the map sizes, or maybe we should run a beta before we launch this game. Nothing. Just unanimous confidence from everyone in the room. And the developer goes on to say some of this feedback came from, quote, unbiased sources. But here's the thing. They were still sources the team chose to show the game to. That's not unbiased at all. You've actually curated who is providing you the feedback. You selected the people, showed them the game in a controlled environment, and they told you what you wanted to hear. Whether you know it or not, you created an echo chamber. And where there is an echo chamber, you find toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is when the pressure to be supportive and encouraging becomes so intense that it replaces honesty. It's not the same thing as being positive at all. Being positive is great. Being optimistic about a project you've been working on is healthy and it's normal. But toxic positivity is what happens when that optimism becomes the only acceptable opinion in the room. And anyone who expresses doubt or concern or criticism gets treated like they're being negative, like they're not a team player, like they don't believe in the team's vision. And so anyone who might have had some doubts or concerns stops talking, or they get pushed out, or they learn to just nod along because disagreeing costs more than it's worth. And the people left in the room are the ones who told leadership exactly what leadership wanted to hear. And then those are the quotes that end up in this developer's article as proof that the game was supposed to be a hit. Everyone said it was amazing. Yeah, because the people who didn't think it was amazing were either silenced or self-selected out of the conversation. This is actually pretty serious, because if you're incapable of seeing the flaws in the work you do, if you can't admit the mistakes you've made, you're either lying to yourself or to others, which makes you reckless and a bad team member. Or if you genuinely can't see your flaws, you're delusional, which makes you dangerously risky. And I personally never want to work with you. Number 2, shills and content creators. Then the trailer came out, and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive reviews after being flown out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative-leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction, whether conscious or not. This is a twofold situation here, because 1, you're admitting that the Access Media journalists and content creator shills do have a bias to report favorably after being pampered, given gifts, and flown out to events. Which means everything IGN, PC Gamer, and anyone else who went to your event were all compromised. We should never take the word of Access Media shills for anything other than paid advertisement, even when there's not a dime involved. These people sell their integrity and audience's attention for a bag of Swedish fish. The second issue, because there's 2 here, was content creator detractors, and that everyone was inherently negative. Well, the circumstances to which Highguard was revealed at the Game Awards was worth criticizing. Jeff Keighley oversold the game to high heavens. Welcome to Highguard somewhat sounds very Elder Scrollsy. And then the first shot of the trailer was a mountain that looked awfully similar to the last time we saw an Elder Scrolls game reveal, only for it all to be another hero shooter. The presentation of this is in part Wildlight's fault for participation, yes, but also Jeff Keighley's fault for overselling something that was going to underdeliver. This speaks heavily to the fact Jeff doesn't understand who gamers are either. He knows nothing about who gamers are or what they want, and neither do AAA developers. But also, did every independent content creator hate on Highguard? I didn't. I did a whole video advocating for you in defense of Highguard, and I said that even with the terrible Game Awards reveal, if Highguard had been undeniably excellent, if people were loading into matches and having the time of their lives, you would have proven all of your critics wrong. You would have rewritten the script. The Game Awards was awful, and then lots of creators criticized you, but you know what you had? Curiosity. People were curious. If you had stuck the landing, this conversation would have been totally different. Creators are negative when you give them a reason to be negative. They're not inherently negative, although a lot of people will believe they are and disagree with me. If you insult the audience, if you belittle your customers, if you think you're better than you really are, independent creators will be there to hold you accountable, like Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. The stories say that he had a servant follow him around, and every now and then the servant would whisper in his ear, "Remember that you're just a man." Well, that's what content creators are. You're not special. You cannot think you're better than anyone else and get away with it for very long. We'll be here to remind you that you're just a man. Number 3, the framing of the review bomb. The developer cites 14,000 negative reviews from users with less than an hour of playtime as evidence of coordinated review bombing. And this framing is something that drives me up a wall because it comes up every single time a game fails and the developer or the media doesn't want to accept why. Review bombing does not exist. Did a video on that here and you should watch it after this one. But okay, in most cases where there is alleged review bombing, those people don't have any hands-on experience with the product. They haven't seen the movie, they haven't seen the game. In our case here, 14,000 people quit playing the game before they finished the tutorial or finished their first match, and they left a negative review. That's actually 14,000 people telling you that your first impression was so bad they did not want to continue. Time is precious and competition is limitless. If your game can't hook people in under an hour, if 14,000 human beings bounced before they even got through the tutorial, then maybe the tutorial is the problem. Maybe the onboarding is the problem. Maybe the first hour of your game is too boring, which, by the way, it is. Because I played it, and that's exactly what happened with me. The matches are empty, the maps are too big, the looting phase is a waste of time. You don't need a conspiracy to explain why people didn't enjoy that. They're telling you why, in the reviews. And I'll tell you something else. Gamers are stubborn pains in the ass, okay? Okay, gamers? I see you out there. If they like something, they don't care about reviews. If they're enjoying a game, they're gonna keep playing that game, and they will go toe-to-toe fighting with people about it. You know how I know? I read my comments. Yeah, when I say something bad about a game that people like, or a franchise that people like, they lose their collective minds, and rightfully so. You, Highguard, lost 90% of your players. They weren't convinced to quit by some outside coordinated source. You just gave them no reason to stay. Number 4, the Game Awards folly. There is so much constructive criticism that can be and has been said about Highguard's trailer, marketing, and launch, but I don't think it's my place to commentate on that. I also don't think there's any way to know whether the launch would have fared better or worse without the massive spotlight that was thrown onto us in response to the Game Awards trailer placement. But we never got that chance. Yeah, I've already addressed how awful the Game Awards announcement was and how out of touch Jeff Keighley is with gamers, but I also want to say that gamers are looking for something authentic. In fact, gamers are crying out daily for authenticity. Please give us good games. Please give us complete games at launch. Please stop carving your games into microtransaction hellscapes. Please give us experiences that we will talk about for 20 years. And very soon, it will be 20 years since we've been able to say things like that.
I also have to point out that though they claim to be an indie studio, one, where did the money for the project come from? That's very suspicious for something that big budget to just be funded by the Fae. And 2, they went indie to do the exact same thing they're doing underneath a corporate thumb. Right down to the broccoli Jack Doherty haircut on their lead character that nobody likes. It's like things with kids with backwards baseball caps and sunglasses in games in the 90s. It's like they're trying to look cool, but they really ain't. Plus, nobody should be like Jack Doherty.
2013 and onward, gaming has been an empty and hollow shell of what it once was, and that's why we lose our minds when we talk about games that are just good enough, and we treat them like diamonds in the rough, because they are diamonds in the rough. The Game Awards announcement was the most inauthentic scam. Everything about it felt fake. And you guys played all the right notes in the right ways to get everyone collectively around the world to say, "You're joking, right? Welcome to Concord 2.0. Number 5, We deserved better than this. Even if Highguard had a rocky launch, our independent, self-published, dev-led studio full of passionate people just trying to make a fun game with zero AI and deserved better than this. We deserved the bare minimum of not having our downfall be gleefully manifested. Who do you think you are? Who is it that you think you're talking to? Who is it that you make products for? You see, this might be the most revealing segment in the whole article. We deserved better than this. And why? We're independent, self-published, developer-led, and built with passion. You make video games. You're not out working on a farm. You're not coal mining.
You must think we're genuinely stupid if you think there's no... If you try to tell us there's no AI involved in
and a $1,000
it.
iPhone in the other. You live a life of privilege making art all day with your team and taking home a six-figure salary. You frame this as if you guys were an indie dev team picking yourselves up by your bootstraps. Bullshit. You had millions of dollars invested behind you. You might have been independent on paper, but your culture is corporate. The market does not grade on a curve based on your studio structure. Being independent doesn't entitle you to a positive reception. Being passionate doesn't entitle you to good reviews.
100 plus a dev studio, that's... You're past the point of indie. That's like calling Nintendo indie. Like, yeah, sure, they technically self-publish. They're not indie.
Using no AI doesn't mean the game is automatically fun. Having no corporate oversight does not mean the product is automatically good. Those are process qualities that the market does not judge by. No, the market judges by output. No product deserves a warm reception. We deserve better. From whom? From the 97,000 people who downloaded your free game and tried it? They gave you their time. The most valuable thing a consumer can give you is their attention, and they gave it to you. The experience you provided wasn't good enough to keep them. You're framing this as if the audience failed you. Wrong-o, you failed the audience. My friends, there is a fundamental relationship in every market between the people who make things and the people who buy them. And I talk about this often. This is so important, and not enough people understand it. Somewhere along the way, particularly in gaming and entertainment, the relationship between buyers and sellers got flipped. It's been broken, hijacked even. Sellers stopped believing they needed to earn the transaction and started believing they were entitled to it. The attitude became, we made something, therefore you should buy it. Not, we made something great, and here's why it's worth your money. Now all it is we made it, we worked hard, we're passionate, where's our money? Money, please! And when the revenue doesn't show up, the buyer is framed as the problem. The buyer didn't support the product. The buyer was toxic. The buyer hoped it would fail. The entire accountability got inverted so that the customer is now expected to justify why they didn't buy something rather than the company justifying why a buyer should have. This is why I advocate for fighting back against corporations. This Highguard situation was organic, it was natural. But if we thought a little bit more, if we planned a little bit more, and we communicated a little bit better, buyers could regain complete control of everything, though they don't want us to know that. Number 6, the guilt trip. Many of Wildlight's former devs will now be forced to assimilate back into the actual corporate industry many gamers accused Wildlight of being part of. Now,
let me shed a single tear.
Every time someone
do a better job next time, loser.
Behind, in favor of making a new multiplayer game the indie way, they'll say, but remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance? Soon,
like, listen to this
pattern
bullshit.
Continues, all that will be left are corporations, at least in the multiplayer space. Innovation is on life support. We need to go through this one section by section and line by line.
They're so fucking full of themselves. This is beyond copium. Like, it's like lethal levels of copium.
To assimilate back into the actual corporate industry, many gamers accused Wildlight of being a part of. You were corporate. I said it earlier in the video. You might not have been a corporation, but your culture was corporate culture. Everything you did was conventionally corporate product launch. You announced on the most corporate marketing stage. You held in-person events for slimy corporate shills to promote your product. And the product itself was a sweaty microtransaction cosmetic game designed for corporatized esports events. There is nothing indie cultured about you. Every time someone thinks about leaving the golden handcuffs behind in favor of making a new multiplayer game the indie way, they'll say, but remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance?
They are so full of themselves.
Good. Good. That's the message. Stop making these live service games. Stop making these sweaty microtransaction games. Make something new. Make something original. I hope that's the message you guys receive. I hope this corporatized branch of gaming dies out. Soon, if this pattern continues, all that will be left are corporations, at least in the multiplayer space. I like that you included that caveat at the end, at least in the multiplayer space, because, yeah, indie companies are thriving right now. A new one pops up every day.
By the way, this is complete bullshit. Check out the game Diesel Punk. It's basically what they would have wanted from a ex-Titanfall studio, essentially. And it looks really good. It's indie, made by an actual indie team. It's looking fantastic. So check out Diesel Punk. Spelt just like the fuel and punk at the end of it.
And this furthers my last point. We don't need more live service competitive multiplayer slop. But also, let's take this from another angle. You're saying indie developers will not be able to get funding for making these multiplayer live service games.
Is there a release date for that yet?
Corporations
Diesel
will be forced to
Punk.
think twice too now. Concord killed the Justice League, X-Defiant, Foam Stars, Marvel's Avengers, Redfall, Lawbreakers, now High Guard, and there are 50
doesn't
more
look like it
games
yet. I
like
guess
this
it's still
behind
just
it.
on Kickstarter.
Eventually, corporations will learn that they need to start making better games if they want to earn players' money and time. The universal revolt behind the worldwide universal revolt behind High Guard might be just enough to move the dial a little bit. And finally, innovation is on life support. Innovation is on life support? You didn't innovate anything. Every feature in High Guard is rinse and repeated from other games. Innovation does not die because one game fails. Innovation dies when studios...
Put my stream to 1% volume. You don't... Sam, if you're going to put your fingers in your ears and go, I can't hear you, why are you putting... Are you just trying to get a rise out of me?
Stop making things people actually want. Again, the indie space is thriving right now. College bros on laptops have the ability right now to create, innovate, and inspire, resulting in breaking records and pocketing thousands, if not millions of dollars. The sky's the limit right now for innovation. This claim shows you don't even know what innovation means. Consumers do not owe you a purchase to keep your vision alive. That's not how the market works. And framing your specific game's failure as the death of innovation for an entire industry is grandiose in a way that, frankly, proves the point about the echo chamber in point 1.
Sam, ignoring everyone's evidence for why this happened is not going to mean it's not happening. It happened. And yes, virtually everyone is celebrating its demise, as they should be.
Inside the bubble, this project was supposed to change the world and save lives and cure diseases, and outside the bubble, it was a 3v3 shooter in an empty theme park. Number 7, missed point. reasons. There is a list of concrete, fixable problems that contributed to HighGuard's failure, and the developer's article doesn't address any of them. I'd like to address some of these right now. 1. The PC version had ridiculous system requirements that included invasive kernel-level anti-cheat and invasive...
By the way, if you play on Linux, you couldn't play HighGuard. It would... it just doesn't work.
Secure boot. 2. There was no beta test, no testing in the gamer marketplace. 3.
Because of the kernel anti-cheat.
One of the characters was broken and unbalanced. 4. Zero marketing led to no one knowing why we should care about the HighGuards as a brand or a concept. As you run through the game, you'll hear characters saying, "You're a HighGuard."
Is that a computer type? Yeah, Linux is one of the most popular operating systems. The only reason why we use Windows over Linux is because the US government backed Microsoft instead of the Linux Corporation. Linux is biggest with tech nerds, and it's been slowly increasing in popularity over the years as Windows has been victimized by the enshittification of technology. It's also completely free.
Okay, what does that mean? Because I don't know, and I really don't care. Number 5, Wildlight invested a small fortune into making this game fully localized around the world with voice acting and translations in 10 different languages. Now, getting your product accessible for international markets is totally fine, but it's very expensive to do, and you didn't have an MVP.
Oh, like, if you want a good example, you know Steam Decks and the upcoming Gabe Cube, as people put the name of the thing? That's Linux. They run on a specific branch of Linux because Linux is open source. Steam machines all run on Steam OS, which is a sub-branch of Linux. Made specifically for gaming.
Minimum viable product. Tested with customers before you paid all that money for the translations. Had this game been tested in English-speaking regions, you'd have learned how much work was needed on the actual game first, and then you could have used the localization funds you spent to make a better game in the beginning. Wait a minute, wait, pause everything here. The game shipped worldwide fully translated in 10 languages on day 1. That means the entire world was the player base. So this wasn't Western chud gamers complaining that killed the game like the access media wants you to believe. The global gamer audience reject this game. That's incredible. 6. There was 16 days to layovers. Live service games require sustained investment, and part of that is being able to handle a rocky launch, especially on a new IP.
Why are you saying it's wild, Sam? Tell me, why is it wild that what he's saying is true? I'll wait. At this point, I should just put on just chatting. You think it's just this guy saying all this? Amigo. It is so many people saying all this. I've said this. I'm not just blindly listening to others. The only reason why I didn't play Highguard is because of the kernel anti-cheat bullshit.
With no beta testing and no prior customer base. If your game can't survive past 16 days, that says to me, you not only thought you had immediate success, but you also required it. The business plan had millions of dollars in income as a day one requirement. No.
Sam, what is it about this that you are so adamant on defending this game? If you couldn't care less, then why are you saying that everyone's wrong? Again, I have to ask, are you just trying to get a rise out of me? Like, are you yanking my chain? Pulling my leg?
Number 8, media gaslighting campaign. I would like to address the discourse that's happening right now across social media in the wake of all of this, the layoffs and this article, because it connects directly to everything we've been talking about. Right now, across Twitter and forums and gaming media, there are developers and access media creators saying that gamers should support games, that we shouldn't hope for games to fail, that celebrating or even acknowledging failure is toxic and hateful because real people lose their jobs. But here's what the support games argument actually is when you strip away the sentimentality. Yeah, what these people are actually telling you is that you should spend money on products you don't want so that people who made the product you don't want can keep making products you don't want. They're asking you to subsidize mediocrity out of guilt. They're telling you that your role as a consumer is not to evaluate what you're buying, but to financially support an industry regardless of what it produces. This is exactly what I said earlier. The relationship between buyers and sellers is broken. We made something, therefore you must buy it. And let's talk about who's actually making this argument, because it's not random gamers who are saying this, it's developers who benefit from an audience that doesn't hold them accountable. It's access media outlets that need the industry to keep functioning exactly as it does so they can keep getting early review copies and event invitations. It's also influencers who were flown out to play Highguard and told their audiences it was going to change gaming forever, and now they all need the conversation to shift away from how wrong they were. These people aren't defending workers. They're defending the pipeline. The system of paid access, early builds, shill coverage, and corporate relationships that keeps them all relevant and paid. When they say support games, they mean don't disrupt the ecosystem that keeps feeding us. The executives who greenlit a live service game into a genre that has produced nothing but consecutive failures are responsible for those layoffs, not the gamers. Slimy journalist shills. And even though this adventure has come to an abrupt and emotionally challenging close, I don't regret 1 second of it. Also, I just wanted to shout out some incredibly supportive journalists and creators who genuinely made a night and day difference in enduring the past 2 months. All of these folks deserve far more credit than they get for their empathy, intuition, and integrity. And then the developer names 9 people who ran defense for this game.
Sam, I don't have to be a clown to laugh at a clown.
Is this what journalism is now? It's pathetic. Journalism was never supposed to be emotional support for companies that they covered. A journalist's job is not to make a developer feel better about their game flopping. A journalist's job is to inform the audience, to investigate, to ask why the game shipped.
Like, you have to understand, these people were pushing themselves as the next step the next evolution, the new breed of shooter, and it's nothing new whatsoever. It is as generic as you can get. The only reason why this game was put into the public eye at all was because of the Game Awards. Every game does it? No! Not every game. It got like as much parading as it could possibly have ever gotten. They were served the freest win of all time. All they had to do was something, and they didn't. So when the game came out and basically shat its pants in front of everyone, of course everyone's going to laugh.
With one map, to ask why the beta was skipped, to ask why 250 people were laid off 16 days after launch, to ask where the money went and who made the decisions that led to this outcome. That's journalism. What this developer is describing and thanking people for is public relations. It's reputation management. It's Access Media doing exactly what Access Media does, running defense for the people who give them access. And the developer praises these journalists for their integrity. Integrity? Do you understand how backwards this all is? Integrity in journalism means telling the truth even when it makes your sources uncomfortable. Integrity means writing, "This game has serious problems and here's why," even if it means the studio stops returning your emails. What this developer is calling integrity is the exact opposite of integrity. It's not integrity, it's loyalty. And this is why no one trusts gaming media anymore. When a developer thanks a journalist for emotional support during a product failure, that journalist has failed, and y'all should be keeping track of anybody who was named to be involved here, because guess what? They are all compromised. Do not trust a thing those 9 people and more have said or will ever say again. Your name to the world should be blood. And here we are on the other end of this very intense video. I've gone through this entire article now. The echo chamber, we've talked about the content creator blame, the review bombing accusation, the we deserve better, and the thing that stands out most to me is what isn't in this article. Every single problem is identified as external. Every failure is someone else's fault. The trailer placement, the content creators, the gamers, the review bombers, the meme culture, the discourse. Not once does this developer look inward and say, we made a product that wasn't good enough. Or maybe there was something we could have done better. Nothing. There is no internal insight. And that, my friends, is the real story here. It's not Highguard. It's not one game. It's not one studio. The real story is an industry that has become so insulated, so convinced of its own brilliance, that it cannot process the idea that the customer might be right. An industry where the audience is treated as an obstacle to the creative vision rather than the reason the creative vision exists at all. An industry where the game scored badly and players left is being attributed to sabotage and toxicity instead of Dodoy, the game not being good enough. You are not obligated to support games that do not earn your support. You are not toxic for having standards. You are not a saboteur for leaving a negative review. And you are not responsible for layoffs that were caused by executives making bad decisions. Think for yourself, please. Trust your own experience and never let anyone in this industry convince you that you owe them your money for a product that will bore you. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. Thank you.
Well, that's that. And Sam, if you want me to send you like a bajillion videos so you can get a bunch of points of view on what happened with Highguard, how they feel about Highguard, ranging from people just shitting on it to people who saw potential in it but was disappointed that it got canned in 2 weeks. Moist Critical has a very good video like that. There's all sorts of perspectives, and in the end, they F themselves over, man. Like, they did a poor job, all in all. Like, the characters were bland and generic for the most part. There were a couple that were okay, but again, for the most part, just bland and generic. The guns are just normal guns inside this otherwise fantasy setting. Why? I don't know. Just because they aren't fantasied up at all, they're just normal guns. Even though they're like supposed to be like this high fantasy world. The gameplay itself was a slog. It takes forever for anything to happen. The maps are way too big for a measly 6 players, 3v3, to traverse essentially what you're seeing right now in Kenshi. All to open up boxes full of the exact same guns. I don't even know what you're saying, Sam. The point is, there is a very good reason for why Highguard is getting the shit it's getting. And, it's multifaceted. Some of it is not their fault. Jeff Keighley was throwing gasoline onto the dumpster fire before it was lit by taunting people, because he was fanboying hard on Twitter and whatnot, on top of, you know, he put their game as the closer to the Game Awards, a show bigger than the Super Bowl, shown globally, so like the entire world had its eye on this game. The devs, instead of actually doing anything, I don't know what you're talking about, Sam, again. The devs, instead of doing anything to quell the speculation and shitposting that was happening in anticipation for the game's release, they just went completely dead silent. And that just makes speculation get worse and worse. Some people thought the devs just cut and run, that the game wasn't even going to come out. Some people thought, oh no, this is a part of the marketing strategy. They want to get people rumoring about the game so that when it does come out, that they'll basically like pop off, showing that they are great and they didn't have to spend a dime on marketing. And there's people that thought that because of all the backlash they got from the Game Awards, they're just going to drop the game silently and disappear. And what happened was they did what every single big corpo studio that has no integrity does. They hire whoever will who will be willing to be paid for, and fly them out to a private event where they get wine dine 69, as they say, to say positive things about the game that are vague and doesn't actually amount to anything, where they're saying, oh, it's great, I can play this game all day. And they don't get any real opinions. And as the guy that he was quoting, that wrote out the giant diatribe, that they were basically just huffing their own farts in that studio. They kept gassing each other up. And when they finally have to come out of their bubble to put out the game, well, it seems like not everyone's into huffing farts now, are they? And they just couldn't handle it. They can't understand. What do you mean you don't want buy swap game? We deserve money. No, you don't. It's like these people, they're like raised on the participation trophy culture. Like some people, like I kind of laugh at the idea, but some people like these, they're truly showing what is the end game of the participation trophy culture. They put something bland, generic shit out, and they expect a gold star. But this is the real world, man. People have limited money, limited time. So when you put out something that is nothing special, it is by the numbers, and you expect people to come and spend money? No. Not at all. What are our alternatives? Overwatch? Marvel Rivals? Valorant? Every other game that they copied off of? Game's free. It's free, but they want to make sales on skins, which is why they're selling $20 to $50 skins in their game that they just put out. And as it goes, people don't like it. People don't want it. It takes too long to get into matches, and once matches start, it takes too long for anything to happen in them. When they say that matches can take up to 30 minutes, this isn't like I can't remember the name of the game. Some military shooter where there's things constantly happening for a long period of time. It's not that. It's 30 minutes because the game's bloated. The world's too large. There are mandatory phases for doing anything. And again, it would have helped the studio. It's a nothing burger. In a way, it's just because of the fact it was put on stage in front of everyone that it's gotten any eye. As people have pointed out so much, if Jeff Keighley did not put a spotlight onto the game, it would have come out and died in complete secrecy. And the thing that could have saved the game is if they didn't just huff their farts the entire time and actually got input from outside sources. Like private playtesting even. Not just going, "So, how'd you like it, Sonny? You liked it, right? You liked it? Yeah? Okay, good. Next person. Okay, you liked it, right?" Instead of that, they could have just gone, "Okay, we got these testers. They're doing some testing. How'd you guys like it? Any input? Any thoughts? Okay, we're going to... Oh, the matches last too long because there's nothing happening. Okay, we need to speed this up." But they didn't. And instead of doing something like... people like to use the example of No Man's Sky recently because of how good the game has got. Instead of doing what they did, where they just go, "Okay, we got this input, let's buckle up, put our heads down, work on this game until it's actually good. We've got public input now." Instead of that, they just go, "Oh, well, we weren't an instant millionaire success. Okay, 98% of people in the studio, you're all fired. But don't worry, folks. The game's going to keep chugging. We've got a skeleton crew of 5 folks that are making sure we're going to get this stuff done for you. Yeah, keep spending that money, wink." And so people are expecting that they're just going to take the money and run after Steam pays them out. Because Steam pays... like after a month. They hold on to the payments for a month. So people that want refunds, or if something happens, Steam will make things right. And in this case, they're probably just trying to pretend things are going to keep going until they get the paycheck, and then they're going to split. It's sad in a way, and it shows how much confidence they actually have in themselves. Because instead of seeing the adversity and going, "Oh dang, we should probably work hard and get things running in a state that's actually acceptable." Instead of doing that, they're like, "Well, we quit. We give up." And that just shows how much confidence they had in their own product. So, even even with all of the hate they got, if they truly believed in their game, they wouldn't have shit-canned the entire team. Like, Sony cutting off Concord after week 2 was, well, not even week 2, it was 12 days in. That was surprising, which is why it's such it has such prevalence in the gaming culture of today. The name of Concord. But you have to look at it this way. Sony spent so much money on that garbage studio full of the looniest of loons that, again, were huffing their own farts on the game's release. And then they decided, in an era of free-to-play hero shooters, they put out the shittiest one for $40, demanded front up. And then were Pikachu-faced when nobody bought it. Highguard had a higher player count, but only because it was free-to-play. If it was not free-to-play, it would have not done anything at all. It probably would have done worse than Concord. Because Concord, say what you will, it had multiple game modes. And Highguard, here's the fun thing. The team that made Highguard, some of them were from the people that made Concord. So, there's some fun facts for you. So, them losing their job again after another 2 weeks of release, well, maybe some people should look into their hiring process a little bit closer next time, for one. And two, these studios need to start actually getting input from others than themselves. They can gas themselves up, but they have the most fragile of egos, because as soon as they're exposed to the public, they crumble. Every single time. Like the guy that made the entire Twitlonger there, where he was blaming the gamers and everyone else for his failure, because he wants to break the millennial poor curse. He's obviously not emotionally mature in the fucking slightest. And if he can't handle criticism, he shouldn't be in a line of work where your work gets criticized. Like, it's weird. Only works on the studio that the Hive might accept that they should attack. What do you mean? Oh yeah. It's like the funniest thing. There's more games that are shit, like I said earlier, Arc Raider, which you gotta pay. You see, I've only heard good things about Arc Raiders. Like, people enjoy the game. Let's look. Highguard, 1,293 in game. Steam DB Arc Raider. $250,000 in game. So yeah. Let me look on Steam Arc Raider. It's only 40 USD. It doesn't look shit to me. It looks pretty good. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I mean, I probably wouldn't buy it, but that's more because I don't tend to buy military shooters. They're not my jam. Would I play it if someone were to buy it from me? Yeah, probably. But not something I would actively seek out myself. Anyways, you don't like High Guard, you don't like it. Nobody likes High Guard. There's a reason why they're constantly hemorrhaging players. And it's at such a low player capacity now that I expect the death knell to be starting. That is, there's nobody to make matches with, so people leave. And since there's people leaving, there's nobody to make matches with. A death spiral all the way until it hits 0 players. That's what happens with live service games when they don't have people that actually want to play them. One, don't call me an ape. Two, this is a difference of 100 million people played it for one day, and then in the next they've lost like 98% of their players. It's going up to 99% now. To you, Arc is as shit as High Guard. Okay. I don't know what you want me to say. Anyways, that's all for Kenshi. I guess next time it's going to be Terraria. Peace, love, dope.